Hi, my name is Gina. I've been knitting for about 10 years, but I have only recently gotten into watching knitting videos on YouTube. And while I have enjoyed those, I found that there's a lot of channels that are just producing the same types of projects repeatedly, always the same designers, and I've tried to branch out so that the algorithm will show me some different things. And I have found several podcasters that I really enjoy who are making lots of different things, who like to use color, but I just thought I would throw my hat in the ring and maybe add my voice to those who are sharing projects who aren't just trying to make knits that look like the things that you would be able to buy in the store. I like to make all sorts of different projects, but pretty much whatever I'm making, I really like to use color. I love, love, love color. And I was thinking about this and I realized this is not just my knitting life, but also when I buy ready to wear clothing, it's usually colorful to the point where, you know, my sister kind of makes fun of me when we go shopping together because she knows that I love bright colored clothing. So I love that knitting allows me to play with color. I've always been a creative person and enjoyed lots of different creative pursuits, but I love that knitting, and especially color work, which I do a lot of, kind of allows you to almost paint with yarn. And what I love about knitting is not only are you getting to play with color like that, but you also get that tactile feeling. I find knitting to be incredibly soothing. So I do it a lot. So I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is the Lokta by Joan, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. Joan Forgione, probably not pronouncing that correctly, but she's of Paper Moon Knits. And this was a little project that I did, I think, at the end of April, beginning of May. I did the size 5, and I made it out of linen quill in pink pop. And I think the pink really does pop. I was super happy with how this turned out. Sorry, it's a little wrinkly because we actually just went to my family just went up to New York, and so I actually wore this to Niagara Falls, and it has not been washed and reblocked since then. It is definitely too warm here where I am to be wearing linen quill at this time of the year. It was fine for spring, but it is definitely not a summer it doesn't make a summer fabric for me. It is supposed to be 104 degrees here today, so it is very warm, and I am not wearing this at home just for the video. Let's see, I used 1.6 skeins according to my notes of the linen quill, which comes in 100-gram hanks, so I've got a little bit of pink pop left over, and I will definitely be doing something with it in the future to use up my scraps. So let's see. Like I said, I knit lots of different things. I knit lots of garments, but I also enjoy knitting stuffies and toys. I kind of was thinking about, do I actually enjoy it or not? I enjoy the way they look. I enjoy it when they're done. They sometimes drive me crazy when I'm in the middle of a project, but I have made the ubiquitous emotional support chicken. One of our dogs, we had 2 dogs and 3 cats until early May, when our beloved boxer passed away of cancer. And so at that time, I decided I needed something squishy and fun and quick to work on. And so I made myself an emotional support chicken to help me through that time. So here is my first emotional support chicken, and she is made with leftover sock yarn scraps, probably mostly Felici, Knit Picks Felici. I love Felici because I love color. So of course I love Felici. For those of you who don't know, Felici is a self-striping sock yarn that Knit Picks was releasing new rounds of the colors about twice a year, but this last year, I guess in the big sale in November, they released a new yarn called Felici, which is just smaller self-stripings. It has shorter runs of colors. I did get one ball of it, and it's the same as the Felici base, so you know, I pretty much knew what to expect. I don't think that the shorter color runs are quite as usable. I mean, I say that like self-striping yarn is super usable. You sometimes have to kind of get creative for how to use it and make it look good if you're not going to use it in socks. But I have all of that to say, I tend to collect the Felici when it comes out. And so I have lots and lots of Felici. I've knitted lots and lots of Felici socks, and so I have lots and lots of leftovers, and I think it made a super cute chicken. I think the modularness or the short rows aspect of the emotional support chicken makes it really good for using up scraps and also self-striping, which I held two yarns marled together throughout this, except for the beak and the comb. So that was my first emotional support chicken. And then I made this big boy, girl, I don't know. I haven't really named this one. Out of Berroco Sundae, according to my notes, which was a kind of honestly gross yarn that I thrifted. I love to go to the thrift store, and I always look to see what yarns might be available. And in my part of the country, there are not that many people who are into knitting, which means that like there's not a whole lot of nicer yarns that get donated to thrift stores. So finding anything with wool is pretty far and few between. I rarely will actually find yarn that I want to buy, but this Berroco Sundae, there were, let's see, it must have been 5 hanks of the Berroco Sundae, and it did just have some yarn content. I don't remember the breakdown, but it's like yarn, it's wool and acrylic and something else in there as well, maybe some nylon or something. But I don't know, I did not enjoy working with this. And after I bought it and it sat in my stash for 2 years, I was like, what am I ever gonna do with this? Chunky, I don't enjoy working with bulky yarn very much. And so I was like, you know what? I think those would make a good chicken. So I made a giant emotional support chicken. I don't know if you can tell how big it is, but it is quite big. It's actually perfect for using as a like bolster pillow to go underneath when I'm knitting, sitting beside me on the couch. And I think I was almost completely out of polyfill at this point. I don't like to buy polyfill, add, you know, more plastic into the world. So I try to either buy it thrifted, or I've picked up some from garage sales before, or I will just get into like an old pillow or something like that and pull the stuffing out. But this is so big, I was like, I will use up any polyfill I find. I'm going to use up all of it. So I actually ended up using fabric that it might have been, if some of it was fabric scraps, because I also sew. So I had some old fabric scraps and also old clothing that was in a bag to take to the thrift store. This is I buy and I return. So I just decided, you know what, I can stuff the body with that. And so I did. So this is actually like a weighted emotional support chicken. It weighs quite a bit. I don't know how much, but substantially more than you expect a stuffed toy to weigh. I think it does, like, the fabric's kind of settled after I put it in there, so I think it would actually benefit quite a bit for me going back and opening it up and stuffing some more in there. But I've also thought about maybe I should like throw it in the, maybe get it wet and throw it in the dryer, because maybe it would felt down a little bit. I don't know, but I used up every single bit of those skeins of Berroco Sundae, except for this kind of oatmeal color. I had 2 skeins of that and then 1 skein of blue, green, and purple. And so I used those, and I ran out to the point where if you look at his sad little face, I had to like add in, he has got all, like, I think all 4 colors on his face, because I was using yarn tails to try to finish out using sort of the darker colors to make his face. Anyway, like I said, going back, I was cutting off the old yarn tails and using those to do like 3 or 4 stitches and tying them all together. So he is quite the mess on the inside, but nobody will see that. And I still have a yarn tail down there because I was like, I'm not going to cut that off since I might go back and stuff him further. So that was emotional support chicken 2. And I do actually have a 3rd emotional support chicken on the needles. It's kind of in timeout until I finish some test knitting, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes. But I started him on the car ride back from New York that my family was on, because I just needed something relatively easy to work on in the car. Okay, so next up, like I mentioned earlier, I love to do color work, and I really like Sarah Kelly of Gray Owl Knits. Her color work, I've done several different tests for her before. She has just some super fun patterns, and she started teasing the pattern for these unicorn mittens. Let's see if I can those show back, I don't know, in April. She started teasing them on Instagram, and as soon as she started showing those, I was like, I have to make those. So when she posted the test call for these, I jumped on it, and so I have a pair of unicorn mittens. This is based on the unicorn tapestries from I don't know where. I remember first coming across this when I was in high school or college, and I went on a trip to Bruges in Belgium, and I bought a pillow with made out of one of the unicorn tapestry, like replicas, obviously. But love those, and I think Sarah just did such a good job at capturing the spirit of those tapestries. Love the fleur-de-lis down here. So yeah, so these are really beautiful mittens. I love the little Latvian braid that she had us do around the cuff. And she also has this fun little cuff that you can keep out if you want your mitten to be longer and protect your arms so there's not like breeze going up and down them, or you can turn them inside out, or tuck them inside so that like they're completely covered up and it's just an extra layer in there to insulate. So really love these. I think they're so pretty. I can't wait to wear them in the winter. Let's see, for these I used Malabrigo Ultimate sock and also one thing of Malabrigo sock. The colors I used were Three Pigs. That's the this kind of the lighter color there. And then Teal Feathers, which is the teal, obviously. I love that color. I have knitted some other things in Rios in that colorway. And then the purplish color here is Sabriado. Don't know what that word means, but yeah, and I just think they're so pretty. I love all colors, but I love jewel tones especially. So very happy with my unicorn mittens. Okay, and let's see, next up, next is one that I can't show you. And also apparently I did not bring it in here with me, but it is a test knit for, I don't actually know how to pronounce this designer, Zanete. That's how I always say it in my head, but I don't know how she actually pronounces that. For Zanete Knits, and it's a new top that's coming out. It's a summer knit. It's called the Moonglow at this point. That's the name of it. Hopefully it's going to be out at the end of this month, at the end of July. I made mine in Cotlin in the colorway Marina. Cotlin is a Knit Picks yarn that is, I don't remember the percentages, but cotton and linen blend. And I'm not a big cotton knitting fan. Don't enjoy it like many people. It hurts my hands. And so I was basically using that yarn because it was the right weight, and also it had been in my stash for I don't know how long. It has been lost to memory. I'm sure I bought it during one of Knit Picks' sales because I like the color, and I am a big sale shopper, so I will you know, buy maybe not my favorite colors, but ones that I like that I think I can live with because they're the right price. But I actually do really like the colorway Marina. It's kind of a bluish green tealy kind of color. And I honestly enjoyed working with the Cotlin way more than I thought I was going to. So I was expecting for it to be a trudge to get through, but it was totally fine. And I don't know if that's because I'm using different needles now than I was when I first started, and maybe the last time I worked with cotton. But whatever the reason was, it was fine. And I have really enjoyed wearing it since then. It's definitely more appropriate for my part of the world in the summer than the linen quill is. Also, it's like really lacy, so that helps too. It's got a lot of airflow in that particular one. So I will, if I make another video, I will hopefully be able to wear it and show you completely. I was just going to give you a little sneak peek. I can't show the full thing yet, but alas, I did not bring it in here with me. Okay, so I had that test knit that I did at the beginning of June, and then I signed up for yet another test knit. Perhaps you are noticing a trend here. I do get sucked into test knits. I do a lot of test knitting. I don't know why, because I have a queue of paid patterns that is a million miles long that I'm never going to get to in my lifetime, and I certainly won't if I keep jumping in and doing tests for people for patterns that haven't come out yet. But I signed up for the test knit for Brianna Arlene's Cloud Peak socks. And oh, I think these are so cute. I love the little cloud flowers. And I think she has several other, I don't know if they're garments, but like a hat and maybe a cowl using this stitch. But this is a really interesting little stitch. And I think it works really well in this hand-painted yarn. So this yarn is Knit Picks Muse Fingering, and it is in the colorway Impulse, which is kind of funny. So I bought this particular skein, or I don't know, maybe it wasn't this game, but anyway, I bought a hank of Muse fingering in Impulse. Knitpicks was having a sale and I needed something. Oh, they'd come out with new Aloft colors. That's what it was. And I think they were having a sale on maybe Aloft. And so I ordered, because I just really needed this new color of Aloft. That's their mohair lines. I needed some of that Aloft. And so I ordered that and I threw in a ball or a hank of this pretty Muse coloring because it was marked discontinued, goodbye, it's on its way out. Well, when I went to input it in my stash in Ravelry, I discovered that I have one other color of Muse, or one other ball of Muse fingering sock, and it is also in the color Impulse. So I think that one was purchased several years ago. So yeah, apparently I really like this colorway. I guess I am consistent in my preferences, but I think this pattern is just, it's great for showing off the hand paint colors, because hand paints can definitely be tricky to work with. They look so pretty in the hank, but then they don't always look so great knitted up. But I don't know, I'm biased, but I definitely think this is a great use of that hand paint. So really enjoyed making these. They were a super fun pattern. Sorry, I forgot to get my sock blockers out and put them on there so that you could see. But they have a nice, let's see, construction. They were toe up, and they are ribbed across the top. Just on the top, not on the bottom, thank goodness. I made some of Andrea Mowry's favorite everyday socks or whatever a few months ago, and those things are single rib KP all the way around, including on the bottom of the foot. And I was just like, why on the bottom? But anyway, I was already into it before I realized what that was going to be. So I was really glad these were only ribbed on the top, and then that ribbing continues up into the calf, and then that is when you do these little stitches. And these little stitches were very interesting to make. I can't remember now exactly how we did that, but of course also you would want to buy the pattern so that you could see how to do that. But I think I ended up using the crochet hook maybe to help me with mine. They were not as annoying as the grains were on the field sweater. Not as annoying as baubles, definitely easier to do than that, and I think makes a really neat little element. So the Cloud Peak socks are going to be out. They were actually supposed to be out this week, I think maybe later this week. So keep an eye out for those. Brianna's patterns are great. I've done several tests for her and I really like her work, just very thoughtful. Okay, and looks like I used only 0.6 of hank of yarn on these 100 gram. So I'll have lots of leftovers to work into some other project. Okay, next I have another test knit. This is I have no idea how to pronounce this, Lokta vest by Sharon Hartley of River Road Knits. This one's actually on the blocking mat right now. Sorry for my hideous yellow children's floor thing. That's what I do all of my blocking on. And you can tell from this, I'm not the I'm not super persnickety about my blocking. I'm just trying to stretch out those cables. But this is a really neat vest. Let's see, we've got this like really beautiful cable that runs down both sides, and then my yarn is not super easy to see, but there's this little crisscross thing action, and we've got a big diamond motif on the back that's out of these. And then also some more cables. And then there are actually little pockets here. I think I had to make some modifications on this one because the armhole depth was not enough for me. That's an issue that I run into fairly frequently when knitting. It's actually one of the reasons that I thought I might like join the voices out there on YouTube, because I have a disproportionate bust size, so often I have to do a little bit of modifying to get things to fit me correctly. And sewing, I need a full bust adjustment, so that looks a little bit different in knitting, and honestly I'm still kind of trying to figure all of that out. But one of the things that I often find is that I need to create more depth in yokes, and I'm assuming that's probably a bust issue coming into play there, but I don't know for sure. If somebody knows, feel free to tell me. So anyway, I had to continue moving down the front. It's not, this is not a circle yoke or anything, but I had to move down the front, sort of knitting straight. And then, I think I added, I don't know, probably at least an inch, if not more, to my armhole depth. And so consequently, I didn't think through, we were measuring from the underarm for pocket placement, and my armhole depth was lower than it was originally intended to be. And so that meant my pocket got put on kind of low, but I think it'll still be functional because it's gonna attach almost at the bottom of the hem. So I think it'll be okay. So Lokta, I am knitting in Purl Soho's Good Wool, and let's see, I think I have a, nope, that's linen quill. Here we go. Good Wool in Red Prune. What a name. Squish, squish. I have not even gotten into this ball yet. I'm definitely gonna have an entire ball left over after I finish this. I used Purl Soho's Good Wool. Actually, I'm looking at it. The sweater I used it on first is sitting right here, so I'll just grab that. I used the Good Wool to make this sweater, which I wasn't planning to show, but I guess I will. So I made this fun little sweater to be worn in October for Halloween. I don't have a Halloween sweater, so this will be it. I elected to do short sleeves, and I made it super cropped, which is not, I don't wear super cropped stuff because middle-aged mom belly at this point, it does not look good on me, but I was thinking I will get more wear out of this if I plan to just wear it over a little black like tank dress, because I can have bare legs and mostly bare arms, and so hopefully I will get some wear out of this come October. Where I am, we might get snow in October, and it might be freezing at some points, but it is more likely to be pushing 100 in October. Like, our weather just goes all over the place, and October is definitely one of those unpredictable months. There will be a lot of hot in October for sure, but maybe some cold. I've actually gotten to wear my like warmest sweaters sometimes in October, usually not on Halloween, but in October. So hopefully I'll get some wear out of that. All of that though was to say, I tried Purl Soho's Good Wool for this one and really enjoyed it. I was super skeptical because let's see, this is sport weight yarn, which I'm like, really? This is sport weight? This, when I got it for the first time, I was like, this barely even looks like it's fingering weight to me. But I had seen several people used it to make this petite knitter sweater and some of her other stuff that calls for DK weight. And and also on Purl Soho's, on the website, it actually says that it will fluff up and that you can knit it at a DK weight. And I was like, the first time I was a little skeptical, but it really did fluff up, and I'm squishing because it is like just so squishy. The top where the color work is, it feels so good. This wool is, I find it quite soft for being, it's Highland wool, I think, Peruvian Highland. But it is, I don't find it scratchy. I find it quite soft, especially this that's knitted up and been washed and blocked. Yeah, like I was pleasantly surprised. So it was great for color work. This sweater had surprise 3-stranded color work in it. I mean, it's not surprising if you actually look at it and sort of think through it, but the pattern did not specify that it was 3 color work, and so I was a little mad when I was knitting it because I might not have taken it on if I had realized, especially because it was not just like 1 or 2 rows here and there, which is how I have done some sweaters with 3-stranded color work in them before, but this one was a lot. Like, all of this motif, the entire cat motif is 3 color, and some of this up here is 3 color. But I just gave up on trying to catch my floats because there was just too much going on, and I was like, it may just look horrible and I may have to rip the whole thing out. But I washed it and blocked it, and I think it came out pretty cute. Definitely not my best color work ever, but given what I was working with, and I just gave up on trying to catch floats. Anyway, it did really well. I felt like this wool was super forgiving for my situation. So I went back to that then, the good wool for Lokta, which calls for a DK weight, and so it is fluffing up. I definitely did not pick the best colorway to show off cables, which I'm a little sad about, but also I just think this will work better in my fall wardrobe than a lighter colored vest would have, although I did just make myself a vest in a more brownish red color last year, but I've worn it a ton, so I think I know I'll get wear out of this one. I just have to put it's blocking right now because I need to put the button bands on. And I'm hoping when I pull it off the blocking boards today that it goes far enough over that I need it to come to about like right here. It does have very wide button bands that are called for, but mine might have to be a little bit wider. I and several of the other testers are going, we don't know if our vests are going to be quite big enough. So yeah, let's see. What else? I worked on and have finished a test for wool and pine. It is a super cute one. I can't show the full thing, so I'll just show you. I'll show you a colorwork arm that I did for this. This is a drop shoulder sweater with some color work, including in some surprising places. It came out super cute. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait till they release the pattern. I think there is going to be a knit along for it. So it's gonna be really cute. Can't wait to wear it. Definitely gonna have to cool off for me before I can do that. I used for my main color is Knit Picks Provincial Tweed, which this is one of those that Was maybe not my favorite color, but I bought during Knit Pix's big sale that they have in November. And I bought, goodness, I don't know how old this is, several years old. So this was from some fairly deep stash. I think this was pre-pandemic. So it's pretty old. So I was thrilled to use this and get it out of my stash. Also, the color work is all scraps. So these are all leftover DK weight superwash yarns. The provincial tweed is technically a worsted, but everybody has always commented on the provincial tweed that like it is not a real worsted. It is light worsted at best. And honestly, my DK scraps that I had from some other projects, some indie dye DK merino, they were much plumper, much heavier than the provincial tweed was. So I definitely agree with those comments out there that provincial tweed is a little bit light. So I think it was perfectly fine in this DK pattern, and really happy with how it worked up. Hopefully I will get to show it to you soon. And then my last project is one that, oh, I forgot to say. So I was inspired by Edible Thought Makes podcast. I love her podcast. I love how dedicated she is to education, to providing helpful information to everybody, as well as inspiration. Anyway, I was inspired by her to make a knitting bag. So this is all scrap fabric that I had. I am a serial hobbyist, so many years ago, I was very big into quilting, and so I had quite a stash of quilting cottons that I had built up from the probably 8 to 10 years that I was really into quilting, and because it was like I got heavily into it when I was in grad school, and so I did a lot of stress shopping. I think basically I just frequented the clearance bins at the fabric stores around me, and so I accumulated a lot of quilting cotton stash. But anyway, that's what all of this is. But anyway, just a cute little bag. I made a little drawstring for it, and I'm a person that will use Ziploc bags or anything else that's laying around, but I have to say, like, it is fun to use a prettier bag. This one's super summery with bird of paradise flowers on it. A lot more fun than a Ziploc. Okay, so last project is, and I can show this one, it is not a secret. This is a cowl that I am testing for Stephanie Lotvin, and oh, this is like at a really awkward place that I left off here. So this is the Flock of Flamingos cowl. We've got flamingos, we've got sunshine, and we have these cute little, these are palm trees, and they were made with a very interesting stitch. Actually, it was not terribly different than the little dip stitch thing from the Cloud Peaks test, but they were different. They were quite different, but it's kind of the same idea where you're dipping and catching your yarn. And yeah, so this one's not finished. I'm just on the ribbing, so I'm about 5 rows from being done with this, and the color work looks messy because it's not blocked yet. But there's my flamingos. So like I said, this is for Stephanie Lotvin of Tellybean Knits. I love Stephanie's style. She I think is really well known for these types of cowls, these bandana type cowls. I said earlier that I make a lot of things. But one of the things that I don't make a lot of is shawls and scarves and neckwear, just because I don't really know how to wear them. I've made a few shawls over time, and like I don't think it's just that I don't know how to style them, although that is probably part of it. But I have this issue where, like, if I put on a big shawl, it just mounds up and sits on my chest, and I feel like it's gonna eat my face. I don't think it's attractive. Like, I love how they look on other people, don't love how they look on me. So these little bandana cows, though, I think fit me a little bit better, a little bit easier. Although I'll be honest, like I have made a ton of Stephanie's cowls. I love them, but I give most of them away or like sell them to friends at the cost of the yarn, because I love to make them, but how many Halloween cowls like does somebody need, right? Not that many. So I have a few that I made for myself, and in fact, Stephanie's first cowl that I made, I can't remember the name of it, but it was it's one of her Halloween ones, with like it's got a bunch of different motifs on it, because I made a few different Halloween ones for her. She had a mystery Halloween cowl last year, and I test knitted that one. I test knit her like a spiderweb one from 2 or 3 years ago. The one that I made was before that, so I don't know, it's probably 4 or 5 years old. And I actually made 3 of them, because I made one for myself, my mom, and my sister. And I've also made Stephanie's Christmas one for my mom, and I really need to make one of those for myself, because I think I would wear it, like these like once a year holiday ones. So I don't know yet what I'm going to do with this one. Thinking about giving it to one of my friends who I think could use some sunshine in her life right now. So yeah, but I love Stephanie's work because she also loves color. She has a great eye for color. She works with a lot of indie dyers, using really bright colors. So love her aesthetic. She just makes fun stuff. And she's also so super thoughtful for the knitting experience. So like you have to purl here. Like there was just, these palm trees weren't hard, but they weren't hard at all, but you could tell like Stephanie had thought about how to make this as easy on the knitter as possible. So there's several rows here with the palm trees where you slip your main color and you're just working with the contrast colors, like for the trunks. And maybe you do that for the palm fronds as well. And it was just so nice because, like, I was thinking of that, honestly, my Halloween sweater with a 3-color color work, which I was not expecting because it's not written loud and clear in the preview of the pattern that it's going to involve that. But she just made this so easy, like, rather than having to carry these strands across there. So like, I just really appreciate how thoughtful she is. She also includes just wonderful video tutorials, and she also will have both a charted and a written version. Personally, I prefer charts most of the time, but sometimes I'll use her written instructions. I just change back and forth, and I just love her stuff. I think she's super, super thoughtful. Also, if you're interested in testing, highly recommend Stephanie. I saw a thread on the Reddit Craftsnark the other day with test knitter reviews, and there's some like big name designers out there who apparently are pretty rough to test for. Thankfully, I've never had as bad an experience as some people apparently have, but shout out to Stephanie. Her tests are perfect. Her patterns hardly ever have mistakes, and when they do, she is like very present, very helpful, very responsive, and very grateful for your assistance as a test knitter. Just cannot give her enough kudos for her work. Okay, so see, we're already at 45 minutes. That was a lot. Oh, maybe I'll show you my little stitch stoppers. Actually, this also might have been in Craft Snark that I read this, but these little cute little stitch stoppers are actually just silicone beads, and you can order like bulk amounts of them. So yeah, I have these little llama guys, and then I have some Monstera leaves. Oh, and I forgot to say, as I see all of my colors in here, this is Knit Picks Stroll, for the most part. I don't know if anybody really cares about these colors. The darker blue, that's the wrong label. Sorry. That says Vibrant Violette, or Violet. That's actually this color down at the bottom, this kind of purplish pink fuchsia. Let's see. This blue is Ravelry. That's around my flamingos. The flamingos are not Stroll. This is Ella Ray Superwash Merino. I actually got this thrifting just recently. And I don't know, like the flamingos in the picture were pink, but I don't know. I feel like this orange color is really more like the flamingos that we have at our zoo anyway. So I went with kind of that corally color. Not Stroll. Oh, Wonderland Heather is the one I was looking for. That's the main color blue. Main color. And this is, I don't have the ball band for this, but I'm pretty sure this is actually Felici. They release some solid Felicis to use for like contrast. Heels and cuffs, which is nice. You can get solid colors in that same base. Honestly, I use Stroll and Felici together all the time, and there's like a teeny bit of difference, but not much. It does not bother me at all. I think they are pretty good, and I don't remember the name of this color off the top of my head. But pretty sure it is the Felici, and then this is Peapod and Stroll. Yeah, so that is that, and you just need little bits of all of those except for the main color, the Wonderland Heather, which I will have used a pretty good chunk of up. So really happy with this. It should be off the needles. Probably as soon as I stop making this, I will go work on this and get it finished up. And then I think, well, no, I was gonna say that's the end of my test knitting, but actually I still have to finish that Lokta. So hoping to get Lokta off the needles real soon. I have to pick out buttons, which always is stressful. I don't know if that stresses anybody else out, but I hate picking out buttons. Since I sew and since I thrift, I have quite a collection of buttons that I have picked up at thrift stores and garage sales over the years, and so that's always my first place that I go and look and see if I have anything that will work. So I have to spend some time with my button collection and try to pick out some buttons, because you need to do that before you put on your button band. So all right, so that's everything I have from my last month and a half or so of knitting. I hope that you have enjoyed this. Let me know if if this speaks to you, if you are also somebody who loves color, who also uses mid-range yarn. Like, that's another difference, I think, too, that I often see with, some of the other people who are making knitting content. I can't afford to buy indie dyed yarn, or just the, The super nice brands, I think Knit Picks is great. I think that they have very good quality yarn, and so that's mostly what I use, and I have really enjoyed working with their yarn. I love that they have sales, and I kind of know like what's a good price on their things, and what's just a sale price but not actually that great a deal, and I like to shop those sales, because I just can't afford to buy all of the fancy yarn and produce as quickly as I do, which I know some people maybe like frown on making lots of garments, but I don't, I have to do what I have to do to stay sane, and I'm not in a race. I just knit fast, and I knit almost every day. Not all day, obviously, but I knit, unless I am really, like, that's how you know if I'm really tired or really stressed, burned out after a day of work, if I come home and just I can't even knit. Let me know if you like color, if you also are on a budget and trying to craft as well. And we'll see if I come back to do this again. Bye.